now move to our plenary session 6, and our topic or title of our plenary session 6 is Financial Inclusion Strategies with the New Normal Processes of Microfinance Institution. Dito makikita ho natin kahapon kung ano yung dapat natin pare-parehong taglay. Tapos towards hapon nakita natin yung mga pwedeng gawin. Ngayon ito naman ipapakita naman sa atin ano yung mga panibago, mga makabagong pamamaraan upang mapalawak at mapalaki pa natin yung ating pagsiservisyo sa ating mga client members. And to give us this talk is of course our speaker for this afternoon, to give us the support to microfinance institutions under the new normal topic. We are blessed to be with Attorney Kelvin Lester Cayley. He is the Commissioner of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Let me give you a bit more background about our Attorney Kelvin Lester Cayley. He is the Commissioner of Securities and Exchange Commission, the Philippines. He is also a law professor, a mandatory continuing legal education lecturer, and a Manila Times business columnist. Attorney Lee is a frequent keynote speaker and lecturer in fintech, corporate law, corporate governance, and SEC regulations. He has also spoken in international events organized in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Spain. He has a bachelor's and Juris Doctor degree from the Ateneo de Manila University and certificates from executive education programs on private and public international law from the Academy of International Law, on securities regulation from the Toronto Center, and on fintech from the Judge Business School of the University of Cambridge. All right, so thank you. Let us all welcome Attorney Lee.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that very kind introduction, Sir Roland. Fair warning, I have a bit of a cough. I don't think it's related to that, but just in case I cough a little, no, pasensya na po. It's been a very busy week, so medyo pagod na po. But I'm happy to be here. God bless everyone. No, it's an honor, privilege, and a blessing to be here. Talaga. Congratulations to all the awardees. May God bless you in particular. Let me greet very quickly si Mr. Angel De Leon, the chairperson of Append, to Mr. Rolando Victoria, si Dr. Jeng, who was the one I spoke to, si Pastor also, no? And I would be amiss if I don't mention very quickly si Director Rachel Remalante. I work with her at the SEC. In case you're not familiar with her, she's my most valued director in the SEC. We work a lot on many issues, including fintech, corporate governance, and a bit of Mnrc as well. No? To the advocates, clientele of microfinance, associates, everyone. No? Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of our chairperson, Emilia Aquino, and the SEC, allow me to extend my heartfelt greetings to everyone here in Append. It's an honor and a privilege, and as I mentioned, a blessing po din po talaga to be here in this virtual meeting despite yung COVID-19 pandemic. No? And I'm happy to talk to you about the Mnrc and the policies that we have come up with here at the council. So with that, no, allow me to begin. Next slide, please. This is an outline po natin today. No? Today's discussion with more of a lecture per request ni Dr. Jeng. She suggested kasi I rather than discuss parang yung mga policies, it's better that I go specific and discuss yung mga mandato po ng Mnrc and some of the actions of the SEC in relation to this, so that so our constituents, kayo po, the Mnrc constituents, would be guided and would be more familiar. So this is the outline po essentially what we'll discuss today. No? I won't elaborate on it anyway, it's there naman po. Next slide, please. So yung main topic po natin, the Microfinance NGO Regulatory Council, Mnrc. Next slide po. Under Section 9 of the revised of the Republic Act 10693, also known as the Microfinance NGOs Act, an accrediting body po kasi of MFNGOs known as Mnrc shall be composed of 4 permanent members and 3 members from the MFNGO sector. That's your sector, of course. No, the permanent members are the ones you see on screen. No, with the chairperson being our own chairperson Emilio Aquino, who has chosen to delegate that authority and function to our director Rachel Remalante. So I also sometimes sit on that council to watch sila Director Rachel in action. And to learn from everyone who is there as well, no? Because it's always good to learn from other members of the MNRC as well as experts in this field. Next slide, please. So, and I'd like to mention lang our private sector representatives. No, they're chosen by a majority of the permanent members, and they're supposed to serve a term of 3 years. No, si Mr. Eduardo Jimenez, si Father Jose Lobrigo, and si Attorney Ibarra Malonzo. Next slide. So, Section 11 naman of the Microfinance NGOs Act enumerates the essential powers naman po of the MNRC. And they are as enumerated there on screen. No? First function is to institutionalize and operationalize yung system of accreditation. It's also supposed to issue certificates, and these certificates are supposed to be valid for a period of 3 years from issuance. Then they're supposed to monitor compliance, no? Monitor the performance and compliance of the NGOs. And if there are any violations, no, yun naman po talaga, anytime you're talking about any regulator, part of the function will be to suspend or revoke certificates for those who no longer meet the requirements or who violate the appropriate laws, rules, and regulation. The MNRC also has the function of requiring regular submissions, no? Reportorial requirements natin po yun, no? So including the payment of accreditation and monitoring fees. And then any other functions that may be applicable. Next slide, please. So, Rule 3, Section 5 of the IRR naman po of the Microfinance NGOs Act provides that the MNRC is supposed to be supported by a secretariat, no, to coordinate the activities involved in the accreditation process, the monitoring, regulation of these accredited NGOs, and that secretariat is supposed to be lodged here with us at the SEC. So, the secretariat is supposed to provide you technical and administrative support to the MNRC. And the one we have assigned to function as a secretariat po is the monitoring division of the SEC Corporate Governance and Finance Department, which is the department na po that is under Director Rachel Remalante. So, but take note lang po, by way of caveat, that the MNRC secretary is only in charge of monitoring the compliance po, no, of the NGOs with the Microfinance NGOs Act, no, while compliance with the Revised Corporation Code, the Securities Regulation Code, on Data Privacy Act, things like that, will be with the appropriate agencies. So SEC po for Revised Corporation Code, Securities Regulation Code, for NP's Data Privacy Act naman ni NPC po, the National Privacy Commission. And if it's the Credit Information System Act naman po, the CISA, that's under the Credit Information Corporation naman po. We're here, ayan. So MNRC, I'll show you the website lang din po, no? Next slide. This is how you can learn more about the MNRC. The MNRC, which, and then you can also learn about the accreditation process, who are the MNRC accredited NGOs, and other matters that you can file with us at the SEC, such as filing a complaint against the NGOs, request for monitoring of their conformities, if ever. No, all you can do, and you can do it online. No, we have a very good website. I say it's very good because one of my departments I handle is also the one doing the website. No, so medyo self-serving din po yung statement ko po. But I'd like to think that our website is very good. So I would invite you to please check it out, www.sec.gov.ph. Scroll down lang po and you should find the MNRC logo, which looks like that nga po, no? If you see on the lower right hand of your screen. And you click on it to go to the web corner. Next slide, please. And in the MNRC web corner, there's a sidebar for navigations. No? You can look at the tabs, the different tabs po. There's on the discussion on the law, yung IRR, IRR po pala, no, is implementing rules and regulation, the basic concepts of microfinance, members of MNRC, the issuances, the procedure for accreditation, yung mga forms. Kumbaga, all that information, all the data is there naman din po, no, on the website. So like I said, I do invite you to please visitahin niyo po yung website namin, no? Take a look and then tell us what you think about it. Next slide naman po. Please note na under the MNRC issuances tab, when you say issuances, ito po yung mga what the MNRC comes up with, no, or promulgates na mga decisions. No? So that contains all the memorandum circulars, the advisories, the notices, and that's regularly updated po. No? So these issuances implement nga the general provisions of the Microfinance NGOs Act, the MNRC rules and regulations, among others. Next slide, please. So siguro as an example, the most recent notice po natin at the MNRC is a request for comments on the exposure draft of an upcoming memorandum circular, no, on guidelines of accreditation of NGOs for the period 2022 to 2025. So nandiyan na po yan sa website, and I would encourage the public to submit yung mga comments po nila. You have until I think it's until November 15 po yata, no? You still have the weekend in case you want to comment on it. So please feel free to take a quick look at it and then comment po, no, if you get the chance. We talk about the frequently asked questions naman po. Frequently asked questions and responses. Choppy po pala, no? Can you hear me now? There you go. There. Better? I hope you can hear me now. No, I switched internet lang po. So anyway, the web corner also contains frequently asked questions and yung mga responses po nga din na tab. No? So, and there's a universal PDF file which includes information on the general principles of microfinance, whether or not the NGO is supposed to get a certificate of authority to operate now from the SEC, yung mga requirements for accredited. Endless na, you can see, no, in the web page. You remember that as of August 2021, there are 32 NGOs accredited by the Mnrc. So if your NGO lender claims that it is an Mnrc accredited institution, but it's not on that list, then you should report it to us at the Mnrc. Kasi that means there's something wrong. No? That list is updated very regularly po kasi. Next slide, please. Now, if you want to file a complaint naman po against the NGOs, you can click the complaints or tab portion naman. But please be reminded that there are certain subjects lang that the subject matters that the council can evaluate. No? So hindi naman plenary po yung jurisdiction ng MNRC. No? So syempre subject to the laws, rules, and regulation that applies as well. No? And the greatest penalty that the MNRC can invoke and can apply here is revoke the certificate of accreditation. So parang death penalty for the NGO itself, no? Pardon the terminology. Other remedies naman, civil, criminal, or administrative in character, you have to go to the courts na po. So if the revocation of the certificate of registration is certificate of accreditation is your goal, then the MNRC would be the appropriate venue for you. Okay. Next slide po. Now for requests of monitoring naman, of accredited NGOs, no, if they're accredited or not, then you can check it out in the website and then do the appropriate action. And then next slide, please. And then for more information naman po, no, to get the full list of the requirements, you can look into the latest SEC Citizens Charter naman po at the SEC. And then to know more naman about the MNRC website, please feel free to visit the link that we're posting there now. And if medyo mas tech savvy po kayo, no, you can also scan the QR code. And yes, we do QR codes na rin po sa SEC. So next slide po, no, we're going to talk about the minimum requirements naman to be complied with as an accredited NGO. Okay, so itong part naman din, there's a few pointers that kasi I think you would need to remember some of these things lang, ano. For corporations kasi, you need for MNRCs, you would need to have microfinance or microfinancing in the corporate and trade names. And of course, the primary purpose has to be to implement a micro enterprise development strategy and to provide microfinance programs and services for the poor. And then one of the minimum requirement is the 3 consecutive years. 3 consecutive years of microfinance. And take note that 1 million application and at all times of the existence of the microfinance company. Next slide po. In sections 14 to 16 of the microfinance NGOs naman enumerates the set of parameters for determining the financial performance naman po, the social performance, and the principles of good corporate governance of accredited NGOs. So the specific indicators of each of these are annexed naman po to the MNRC Memorandum Circular number 1 series of 2018. So I invite you to check it out na lang din po. No? Once again, it's on the website naman din po lang natin. Next slide po. Now you can see in this graph the minimum rating required for each performance standard naman, no? So to pass the standards prescribed by Mnrc. So what constitutes a passing score naman in the assessment of these of the NGOs? Primarily, it's supposed to score at least 50% in each of the three major indicators: financial performance, social performance, governance, and then overall there should be a weighted average rating of at least 60%. Next slide, please. Now these are the limits. Once again, please take note of these limits, no, set by the Mnrc for accredited NGOs. Nga po. For the ceiling, 300,000 pesos is the maximum amount of microfinance loan, no, that an NGO, microfinance NGO, can extend to its borrower at any point in time. The total investment naman of real estate must not exceed 25%. Tapos as regards the minimum liquidity naman po, it's at least 25%. Please take note that the computation of that liquidity ratio is supposed to be total current assets divided by total current liabilities. Okay? And then you have to follow the definitions of what is current assets and current liabilities as provided for in Mnrc Memorandum Circular number 2 series of 2019. Sorry, medyo technical po, no? But that's what Dr. Cheng requested. So hopefully people are learning something from this. Next slide, please. Now, aside from that, the NGOs accredited by the Mnrc must always be a net lender. Okay? And that the ratio of their microfinance loans to total assets must be at least 65% of the whole component. In case you're not familiar with this, I would suggest you speak to the Secretariat and try to request for some assistance in moving forward on this. No? Or perhaps talk to Append. I'm sure Append would be happy to help you when it comes to this. Next, we're at TILA. So just to be clear, when Mnrc conducted the on-site evaluation naman of the NGOs before the pandemic, it was observed that a lot of by our auditors at the SEC, it was observed that a lot of the NGOs don't satisfy the Truth in Lending Act. No? There are obligations kasi mandated of a creditor under the Truth in Lending Act. No? So siguro reminder to everyone to be aware of the Truth in Lending Act. Okay? As provided for and applied under Mnrc Memorandum Circular number 1 series of 2019. No? And it's very specific po kasi under the TILA that the information required to be in the disclosure statement of the NGOs would be the principal loan, the rate of loan interest, and then including effective interest rate. No? So yung mga iba-ibang fees pa, meaning the other fees, the other interests, penalties, and charges. Okay? And of course, you have to illustrate how to calculate the total amount of obligation in case of default. Take note that this is required under the Truth in Lending Act as applied by Mnrc Memorandum Circular number 1. Now, next slide. Now, aside from what I mentioned earlier, obligations include the posting of that information in the disclosure statement I mentioned kanina, Truth in Lending Act. It should be posted in conspicuous places. So dapat makikita ng mga customers po, ng mga members of the NGO who want to borrow. They're able to see yung mga requirements nga, precisely Truth in Lending, para makita nga po ng mga tao, and everything is fully disclosed to them, the effective interest rate and all the other charges and penalties if applicable. Okay? And if wala, the customer actually has the power and responsibility to demand it. No? Anyways, it's okay. Next slide, please. So let's move on naman to CISA. Thank you. Next slide, please. So moving on to CISA naman, the Credit Information System Act. Accredited NGOs are supposed to comply with their obligation as submitting entities. No? What are some of these requirements? No? They have to ensure that there's basic credit data of borrowers submitted to the Credit Information System. Credit Information Corporation po pala, no? Are complete and accurate and up to date. No? They have to rectify errors if ever may mga errors, no? And then send the corrected information to CIC within a period of 3 years. And develop an internal dispute resolution process. What do you mean by dispute resolution? Kung may away po, then syempre there has to be a system on how to determine how these things are done. Okay? And how those things are resolved. So, yes, and then annual submission of reports by Mnrc. Then you have to submit these the forms that are beginning 2019. These are the forms that you have to submit as an NGO yearly, no? I won't enumerate it anyway, it's all there on screen. Next slide. Now, beginning 2021, these reports are supposed to be submitted on or before June 30 of each year. Na po, no? So the 2019 deadline has been passed. So everyone must know that the submission naman for the 2020 reports was extended to December 31, 2021, precisely because we're aware nga of the difficulties of the COVID-19 pandemic. So kami at the SEC, we are trying to adjust and accommodate po naman. I recall that the extension nga for that the submission of that report was something that Director Rachel Remandlante was feeling very strongly about, precisely to help the industry. Okay? So next slide. There. So Mnrc initiatives to support NGOs naman po, and to help them recover. Next slide. So recognizing the need for regulatory relief for the microfinance industry, and considering that the Bayanihan of 2020 encouraged the government to relax yung mga restriction requirements over regulated entities like the microfinance NGOs, the Mnrc has issued Memorandum Circular Number 1, Series of 2021, which allowed accredited NGOs to avail of the different prudential relief measures in view of their current accreditation. But take note that these prudential relief measures are applicable only to Mnrc accredited NGOs. Next slide. So one of them is that the reports or documents sent through the Mnrc email address during the community quarantine are recognized as valid na. So kahit walang hard copy muna, that's fine so long as they are consistent with the Electronic Commerce Act. Next slide, please. Then the Mnrc will later on require physical copies of reportorial submissions made over email once the state of public health emergency has been lifted. Next slide. And to avail of these measures, the letter notification to be sent to the Mnrc must contain yung explanation of the debt relief measures that the NGO provided to its clients, especially micro-entrepreneurs and low-income clients. Kasi nga, we're trying to adjust to them as well. And of course, it must be in good standing with the relevant government agencies, among others. Oh, sorry, back one pa, very quickly lang. There. So, and the complete submission may be made personally or through registered mail. Okay? And it has to have all the documents that I mentioned earlier, yung mga board resolutions, yung mga ganon. Next slide, please. So, this is what is contained in the letter notification I mentioned. It has to be signed by the president of the NGO or an equivalent or next ranking officer niya. And the letter must state the following things. The intention to avail the prudential relief measures, the measures to be availed of, the debt relief measure for clients, and then the statement that the NGO nga is in good standing with the government. Next slide, please. Then this slide shows how applications are being evaluated naman sa Mnrc. Such evaluation is supposed to be made by the council in a meeting duly called for that purpose. And then, of course, that accredited NGO must ensure that the measures to be availed of are suitable to their COS, which stands for condition, operation, and situation. Next slide. So in summary, we also need to remember these important dates for MNRC's Memorandum Circular Number 1, Series 2021. So the issuance date is March 31, 2021. The publication and effectivity date both on April 23, 2021. The effectivity date of the prudential relief measures is supposed to be for 1 year from the effectivity of the circular, so until April 22, 2022. Okay? Depending, of course, on the developments of the COVID-19 situation, that might adjust pa po. Now, here, the Mnrc also posted a draft memorandum circular on the consolidation and recalibration of these different MCs in the past, MC 1, 2, 4, series of 2018 in the Mnrc web corner. Now, some of the features of the guidelines are what you see on screen, a section on definition of terms for better understanding of an MIS or management information system, documentary requirements to be required from new applicants or for reaccreditation, the reduction and provision of conditions in the submission of other documents, things like that. The publication of this thing and the effectivity is intended to be in December 2021. So NGOs applying for accreditation and reaccreditation are requested to prepare for these requirements. So aralin nyo na po, I invite you to go once again to our website because the newly set deadline of that is supposed to be on January 21, 2020. So next year po. Next is the Truth in Lending Act. I touched upon it kanina. We have a video. Next slide, please. I'd just like to mention that the MNRC, in part with the ADB, has released a video guide for microfinance clients and loan officers on how to deal with TILA, how to discuss the effective interest rate and the loan officers. I won't show you the video kasi medyo mahaba po yung video, mga 5 minutes din po yata. But I would suggest, if I would invite you to please check it out. No, it's once again on our website. It's a very well done video. It was done in collaboration nga po with the ADB. Next slide, please. The next two slides naman will show you a bird's eye view lang, no, of that video. No, ano yung mga information that's in the video, no, regarding TILA and effective interest rate. It illustrated kasi in that video yung the importance of TILA, no, para full transparency nga po, and how it protects borrowers from the informed use of credit, and then the information that's needed nga in the disclosure statement. Next slide. This slide naman, so we should have moved one slide, sorry. There. This slide naman, no, sorry. Balik tayo, ayun, yan. May math po konti, pasensya na po, no. I'm only a lawyer, so I won't even try to explain this. Hindi po ako accountant. Math is a weak point for me, despite the Chinese look of my face, no. But that is the formula, where I represents the interest rate nga po, and N represent the number of compounding periods per year. How to apply this? Siguro I will defer to sila Director Rachel na and our friends at Append and the Microfinance Secretariat. So please feel free to talk to them to figure it out na lang po. No? I hesitate to explain this further. Baka mapahiya lang po ako. Next slide po. So we're medyo done na po sa Mnrc. I hope you'll indulge me, no? Kasi si Dr. Jeng also requested that I speak about the SEC's initiatives naman po under the new normal. So we'll talk a little bit about the SEC naman po, no? Konting lecture na naman po. And interestingly enough, I was asked to talk about investment scam. So next slide, please. So one of the more important determinants of the legitimacy of an investment is it should be registered with us at the SEC, and that's how you determine whether or not investment po na yon is legitimate. Okay? You check first if it is registered with us at the SEC. In particular, you check if it is an investment contract. Now, why is it important to determine whether or not it is an investment contract? Especially for those who are investing outside there, no, in yung mga maraming products that are being released in Facebook, among other things. Investment contracts kasi are included by law as something under the definition of securities under the Securities Regulation Code. It's very specific po yung Securities Regulation Code, no, that securities, including investment contracts, take note, are not supposed to be sold or offered for sale or distribution in the Philippines without a registration statement filed with the SEC. So, what does that mean? Hindi po pwede magbenta or mag-solicit ng mga securities, no, magbenta ng mga investments unless it is registered with us at the SEC. Kung wala po silang mapakita na registration statement with us, no, a secondary license, then there's something wrong. You have to be careful na. You have to be worried. Don't invest na kung pwede. So, any investment scheme kasi that does that is technically an investment scam. And sorry, no, before I go to the Howey test, how do you identify if one is considered an investment scam? Some of the things that you see on screen, no. See, these are some of the warning signs, no. High investment returns with little or no risk, overly consistent high returns, unlicensed sellers, unregistered investment products, secretive daw na strategy, kaya nila lahat na that will make money every month, issues with paperwork, no, difficulty receiving payments after a while. I hope you don't mind, no, I'll give you some specific examples. Yung Kappa, I mentioned this to Dr. Jeng, masama pa rin yung loob ko po noon, no. Yung Kappa in particular, because of that, I got death threats, no, kasi we were shutting it down back in 2019. No, that was absurd kasi every month Kappa promised you 30% returns every month. 30%. Ano mo ma-maintain yan? 30% for life. No? Based on your donation daw, you will get 30% blessings every month. So that's too good to be true. And that's another thing siguro I want to mention to you. If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good, no? So check talaga po, no? Make sure you're careful about it. The latest version of that Kappa scam is something called REPA right now, no? That medyo kinakasuhan na rin po yan sa Bohol and Davao and I think Cebu yata. No? Medyo naging active din po yun. But it's just like Kappa. No? It is essentially an investment scam. Anyway, sorry, I can talk forever about investment scams kasi medyo masama pa rin yung loob ko about. So let's move forward na lang. Next slide po. So back lang po tayo to the discussion of what is an investment contract. No? The investment contract kasi is explained na by law. Ano po yan? No? It's a contract, transaction or scheme, no, as you see on screen, whereby a person invests money in a common enterprise and is led to expect profits from the efforts of others. So that's also known as the Howey test nga. So if you apply the Howey test and it meets all four of the requirements, then it is considered an investment contract. And if it is an investment contract, that means it is a security na dapat po mag-register po with the SEC. Ganun po yung how it's supposed to work. Okay? I emphasize the point. No, kung hindi nga po registered with the SEC, wag po kayo mag-invest. Alanganin yan, problema yan. You will almost, in all likelihood, almost never get the money back. Okay? Next slide, please. Now, with all these investment scam, the SEC recognizes now that we have to inform the public even more. And we have been trying to do that for the last couple of years, no? And this year, this week, we are actually doing the SEC Investor Protection Week. And these are some of the activities we are doing. I invite you to also participate if you get the chance. Check it out. Marami din po kami mga videos showing those who are supporting us as investment champions. One of our investor champions nga, si Robbie Domingo, who I'm informed, medyo sikat din po for the ladies. We have some of our Olympic medalists, si Nesty and sino pa ba? We have a multiple number of athletes who joined us also in supporting. Marami din po mga bloggers. So I would suggest you take a look, get a better idea of ano po consists of an investment or not. Yun, next slide. Ayun, there we are. So to show you an idea pala, no, some of the things we have been doing din at the SEC. Company registrations, medyo malapit na po tayo sa back to normal. We do 2,000 registrations na every month. We also have enforcement actions, no, during the COVID-19 pandemic. To give you an idea, dami talaga po kasing scams. We have issued 215 advisories, no, warning the public na alanganin po tong company. And then we've issued 12 of these groups, no, with cease and desist orders. So ito nga yung point ko, no? I keep going back to that point. Please check with us at the SEC. Marami pong scams out there. We are trying to stop as many as we can. But syempre, marami po kasi talaga eh. So the public has to be aware. The public needs to know these things. They have to study and learn as well. Para they can be careful on their own. Sorry, next slide please. As to access to credit naman, let's discuss online lending lang sandali po, no? Si Director Rachel also helps handle this. We have issued 3 memorandum circulars naman on online lending apps. Okay? We prohibited on unfair debt collection practices, SEC Memorandum Circular 18. So ito yung mga bawal po yung mga collection practices where they get the information from your phone. Bawal din po yung mga mangungulit na on odd hours. Bawal din po yung insultuhin yung tao over the phone just to force them to collect. No? Bawal din po yun under MC 18. If there are violations of that, file it with us at the SEC. And we have MC number 19 sa years 2019 where we required yung mga online lending apps to register with the SEC. And well, aminin natin, medyo marami-rami po kasi talagang abusive online lending apps, yung mga illegal ones. We recently issued lang yung moratorium on new online lending apps and platforms, no? Just last week, no? MC Memorandum Circular number 10. So siguro that goes back to my point, if you're going to borrow money naman, no? Similar to before you invest, if you're going to borrow money from an online lending app, check po muna with the SEC. Determine nyo po muna kung legitimate po ba yan. Kasi otherwise, baka may ipit din po kayo. May hirapan po kayo later on. No? Next slide, please. Here, these are some of our enforcement actions to give you once again an idea. Dami pong abusado din in the online lending space. No? We've revoked 2,081 corporations na, no, with registration. We've issued 58 cease and desist orders. And just so you're aware, currently, yung legitimate pa lang po na online lending apps that have registered with the SEC, 101 lang. If they are not on the list, there's something up with that. So please, take a look. No? Check with the SEC. And lastly, kasi I understand I might be overtime na po. Ito po yung bagong, ito po yung bagong na-release lang po namin this week, the SEC Check app. No? So if you have a Galaxy phone, you have an Android phone pala, please feel free to download it at the Google Play Store. The Apple version is coming out soon as well. No, we're just processing it pa po. Or nakauna po yung Google. You can check it, and then with the SEC app, makikita nyo po yung mga things that you want to know. You can check yung mga legitimacy of a company through the SEC Check app. So balik nga po kami sa point namin. Please check with SEC para malaman nyo po kung legitimate po ba yung lending company, legitimate po ba yung investment company, if they are registered with the SEC. Right? And last slide, and so yun po, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or issues, please feel free to email the Secretariat or my office, ocli@sec.gov.ph. I can't promise na we will reply kasi marami po talaga yung email, but I can promise you someone will read it. We also have a contact center and other things there online, no, and Facebook page. So with that, thank you po. Pasensya na, I think I might have gone over time. No? To you po, Sir Roland. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Attorney President Lester, maraming salamat. And there you go. Maraming ipinakita sa atin si Attorney Lee. And this is part and parcel of our work in the microfinance industry. And if you have questions, sabi niya nga, you are free to email them. What we have been through is, as I listen, these are all the laws and regulations that are going to affect also the microfinance industry as we operate. And ang naisip ko dito, kapag sinunod natin to, we are able to protect our businesses. We are also able to protect our client members. Importante po na ang lahat ng ito ay ating sundan, di ba? Very very close doon sa give Caesar what's due Caesar. Give God what's due God, di ba? Ayos ang pakikitungo sa gobyerno, ayos ang pakikitungo sa ating mga kliyente. So everyone is protected. Win-win. All stakeholders are protected. Thank you very much. How about a round of applause for Attorney Kevin Lee? Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. Kanina, as I was introducing si Attorney Lee, meron ako nabasa na nabigla ako doon sa binabasa ko. Kaya tinawagan ko si sino nga ba to? Si Kuya Kim. Sabi ko, Kuya Kim, how do you pronounce H-A-G-U-E? Pinronounce ko kasi ng Hage. Sabi niya, mali yung pagkaka-pronounce mo. Ang sabi niya sa akin, pronounce it as Hague. Hague. Hindi kasi ako mapakali habang nakikinig ako kay Attorney Lee, sabi ko merong mali. Parang pinronounce ko ng Tagalog. So, konting kaalaman para sa inyong lahat. Di ba? Ang pronunciation ng H-A-G-U-E-R ay Hague. It's a German word. Alright, so salamat and I'll see you later. Hindi talaga ako mapakali mga kasama. Sabi ko may mali dun sa binasa ko kanina. Anyway, let's move on to the second portion of our afternoon. We will hear the BSP on Financial Inclusion Program, and we will hear our BSP Governor, si Secretary Jokno. And after that, okay, we have with us yun ang ating yun ang ating pakikinggan muna. Alright, so let me read a background concern regarding Governor Benjamin E. Jokno. Dr. Jokno is the current governor of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Prior to his appointment, he served as Budget Secretary from 2016 to 2019. On his third tour of duty at the Department of Budget and Management, he pursued an expansionary fiscal policy to finance investments in human capital development and public infrastructure. Under his proactive leadership, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas was among the first central banks in the world to respond to COVID-19 crisis. The prompt and extraordinary monetary measures provided a significant cushion to the current state of the Philippine economy. Brothers and sisters, let us listen to Governor Jokno.
Good day to the leaders and client members of the Alliance of Philippine Partners for Enterprise Development, or Append, led by President and CEO Virginia Juan and Chairman Angel De Leon, Jr. Greetings as well to the host of the 29th Append Leadership Conference, to Liza Pag-unlad, Incorporated. Thank you for inviting the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to take part in this important event. We're always delighted to engage with the microfinance community, our chief partners in promoting financial inclusion in the countryside. The microfinance community is no stranger to servant leadership, from officers taking voluntary pay cuts to members distributing relief goods to the needy. Your collective response has served as an outstanding example of leadership through crisis. We commend Append particularly for its Food Cart for Nanays program, which provides seed capital to poor families affected by the pandemic. This is a worthy undertaking in its aim to help Filipinos regain dignity of work. Our gains in financial inclusion clearly owe much to our dedication to serve the country's unbanked and the underserved. Microfinance non-governmental organizations, or MF NGOs, remain the major sources of formal credit and drivers of account penetration among the rural population and the country's poorest. Moreover, microfinance institutions, or MFIs, are helping us propel digitalization, with 96% of MFIs citing digital payments as a primary initiative, followed by 72% citing mobile app or online platform launching. We're glad that Append has taken the digital leap forward with Append Pay to help clients and MFIs participate in the digital finance ecosystem. As a registered operator of payment system, Append Pay can serve as a model for digital adoption in the industry. However, we also know that these efforts come at a cost. We are thus working to further ensure MFIs are equally placed alongside big industry players and well-positioned to advance financial inclusion beyond the pandemic. Under our digital payments transformation roadmap, we envision 70% of Filipino adults will own a transaction account, and at least 50% of payment transactions will be digital by 2023. We have mobilized various initiatives guided by the DPTR's vision and objectives and urged MFIs to explore opportunities created by these initiatives. Allow me to share some recent developments. On expanding digital payment rails, we are promoting compelling use cases to show the versatility of a transaction account, which is considered the gateway to financial inclusion. Through an account, MFIs and their clients can pay government fees through eGovPay, disburse wages, and collect revenues, among other benefits. Simultaneously, we're expanding digital payment rails to make online and mobile transactions more convenient. Together with industry partners, we launched the QRPH person-to-person or P2P payments in 2019, followed by the full launch of person-to-merchants or P2M just this October. P2M payments will help microenterprises boost competitiveness and revenue streams. Vendors with QR code can accept payments from other P2M participating financial service providers or FSPs, while customers need not pay fees when availing goods and services. There are currently 12 FSPs and over 20,000 merchants enjoying the benefits of P2M. As part of our regulatory initiatives, we recently issued circulars on digital banking and open finance. Digital banks, with their deep technology and innovation orientation can boost dynamism in digital financial services that will benefit the underserved markets. These innovative players can also act as service partners and intermediaries for MFIs. To date, we have already approved 6 digital banking licenses. Meanwhile, Open Finance encourages the creation of more contextualized services for a broader market, promoting deeper collaboration and interoperability among various players, including fintechs, on creating a robust digital finance infrastructure. Our collaboration with government counterparts to bolster the country's digital finance infrastructure is aimed at ensuring the reliable delivery of digital financial services and sustainability of related innovations. We continue to support the National ID or PhilSys rollout. We strongly urge MFIs to take full advantage of PhilSys to deliver more innovations in microfinance. With a PhilSys, MFIs can reduce onboarding cost. Unlike other IDs, the PhilSys will enable MFIs to authenticate a person's identity online and real-time, as well as conduct seamless eKYC. The pilot launch of the PhilSys online authentication or eKYC and phase onboarding of private sector relying parties are set for next year. The Philippine Statistics Authority has made significant progress in PhilSys implementation, with 36 million Filipinos completing registration of their demographic and biometric data. The PhilSys will support the mainstreaming of transaction accounts, particularly the basic deposit account, which is designed to meet the needs of the unbanked. In fact, 5.6 million bank accounts have been opened for unbanked Filipinos from low-income households through a co-location scheme by the PSA and the Land Bank of the Philippines. We're also pursuing policy reforms on digital connectivity to accelerate financial inclusion across the country. We endorse Executive Order Number 127, signed by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte in March, promoting satellite broadband technologies to advance rural connectivity. We are pleased to share that its implementing rules and regulations are in place and encourage MFIs to harness this policy. Key reforms like EO 127 aim to expand participation in the satellite broadband space, enhancing connectivity and enabling MFIs to deliver digital financial services more efficiently to rural communities. On establishing strong market conduct, advancing digitalization equally entails building public trust and confidence in the digital financial ecosystem. We are therefore strengthening our efforts to promote consumer protection and empowerment. We want all Filipinos to be digitally and financially literate, capable of making informed decisions on their financial welfare. To maintain digital financial services usage among financial consumers, we launched our digital literacy program last year with the hashtag Safe at Home with e-payments and e-safety is everyone's responsibility online campaigns. We continue to hold financial literacy webinars for target segments such as micro, small, and medium enterprises. We also launched BOB, short for BSP Online Buddy. Through BOB, MFI clients have an expedient channel to report their financial consumer concerns. BOB is available via our official website, social media accounts, and text messaging. We are exploring additional features for Bob given the positive feedback we have received. On innovation for good, we share Append's belief in strengthening personal ties with the people we serve. Our strategic interventions are intended to bring the BSP closer to the public. Moreover, we are committed to helping our partners and stakeholders, especially MFIs, in their digitalization journey. We continue to engage the donor and development community to encourage provision of technical and financial assistance for the digitalization initiatives of MFIs. May this year's conference bring fresh insights and renewed zeal to help the poorest and most vulnerable through digital innovations. In closing, allow me to cite a passage from the book of Philippians that, like Hebrew 13, speaks of dedication and selflessness. Quote, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to the interest of the others." Unquote. May we all continue to embrace our financial inclusion mission. For in doing so, we can bring a message of hope and help others live with dignity and purpose, especially in these trying times. Thank you and stay safe.
How about another round of applause? Tayo mismo. Round of applause, please. Para magising naman ang ating mga bigot. No? Hora de peligro, sabi namin na it's 2:30 in the afternoon and maybe some of you are a bit sleepy, di ba? Gusto niyo bang tawagin ko si Kuya Kin? Na lang, bibiro lang ako. Alright, so let's move on to our next part. But before we do that, let us remember that the BSP, ang Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, ay in full support of the many programs that we are pushing, particularly yung digitization, di ba? Dahil sila rin mismo, they want to have more Filipinos into the loop of being able to be financially literate, and also maganda yung connectivity. That's why they push for this program para mas maraming makakonect nga naman. And that's part of the innovation that they are talking about. And kung meron mong sagot sa innovation na gusto ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, ito na yung mapapakinggan natin, yung susunod nating speaker, who will talk about the Append Pay program on microfinance digitization. Gentlemen and ladies, brothers and sisters, let us welcome Mr. Angelo Jan David Garon, the Program Manager of Append Pay. Okay, and a brief background regarding Mr. Angelo Jan David L. Garon, is the head of the business development team in Multisyst Technologies Corporation. Multisyst is one of the biggest advanced systems research and development company in the Philippines. The company is comprised of 100 IT experts, 70 of whom are full-stack developers. The firm focused on creating evolving assets of IT systems and platforms. He envisions progress through technology. Their team streamlines the business processes of their partners by involving them with platforms and systems that optimizes their capacity to do business. He spearheads the project management team that partners and integrates solutions for 20 government agencies, ang dami, 50 LGUs, 150 utility companies, 78 financial firms, 43 schools and universities, 51 online shopping 1,000 private companies and counting. Meaning, mas marami pa ngayon. So let us all welcome and listen to Sir Jello.
Hi, hello, good morning. Yeah. Apologies po. It's storming right now in Parañaque, sir. I'm in Parañaque,
Okay.
Parañaque right now, and for some reason the internet connection got disconnected. Sorry
All
for
right.
any technical difficulties po. So before I start, as I said earlier po, our theme for this year is about let brotherly love continue, Hebrews 13 verse 1. So if you're sitting next to someone, it's your wife, your daughter, your son, your friends, can we just spread the love and share the love for this afternoon, and can you just tell them that you love them po? So if your wife is there, if my mom's there, I just want to say I love her. All of the Append Pay members, the Append group, I just want to say that from our bottom, from our hearts, we just love everyone po.
I love you too, son.
All right. So I'm here to present to you the Append Pay app. Our tagline here is simply ligtas and convenient. Our heart is geared towards and revolves around Proverbs 19 verse 17. It says here, whoever is kind to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will reward them for what they have done. So everything happens for Append Pay is to serve the glory of God. This application is geared towards, and our purpose here is to really be a channel of blessing to what has done God has done for us, and to really elevate the life of Filipinos using a digital platform, so that everyone will be equally or given the chance or the opportunity to succeed, to prosper, and to overcome. Next slide po. First and foremost, let me just introduce myself for the first for the people that is meeting me for the first time. I'm Angelo Garon. I'm the project manager for the Append Pay Super App, and also I am the head for product development for Multisyst Technologies Corporation. Next slide. Let me just give you a quick introduction or product introduction of the Append Pay app. I'll dive on deeper later of what is the brick and mortars, what is the essential building blocks of the Append Pay app, what are the features that is currently available. But let me just give you a high-level perspective of what we're doing here. First and foremost, this is a super app. We envision this as a super app of the microfinance institutions and also the microfinance sector of the Philippines. Here we see it as a broader Filipino market where we're giving bigger opportunities for our fellow Filipinos. As we said earlier, this digital asset that we are creating is actually live and running as of the moment, is a different alternative business provider for our fellow kababayans, to give them an opportunity for financial services, to broaden their businesses, and to acquire the services that our member groups or organization is currently delivering to them. Of course, this is a service aggregator where all of the services that is being provided by our MFIs, by our service partners, will be aggregated into the system, so that this system can be available and be usable anytime, anywhere for our fellow members here in the Append Pay app. Next slide. Just to give a quick background of Multisyst. Multisyst is a technology company where we are the leading software development company right now in the Philippines, and our technology is being used by about 2,500 companies. We're very focused in advanced systems research and development, where we create digital assets from scratch. This is our bread and butter, where we provide customized solutions for our partners. As of the moment, we have about 400 IT experts in our company and about 1,500 workforce all around the Philippines. Next slide. This is the building blocks of the Append Pay app. This is the heart and soul of what we are trying to achieve in the Append Pay system. First and foremost is simplicity. We want to streamline all of the business processes of our partners. A single mobile application that can do it all. A single mobile application that can deliver all of the services of our microfinancing institutions, our partners, our brick and mortars, so that all of the transactions, all of the loan disbursement, loan applications, all of those good stuff can be done in the palm of your hands. Of course, if this is a simple platform, we still want it to be safe. It is a secured environment where our users can freely transact. This is a digital system where it is cashless, it is digitalized so that we are safe from any pandemic issues. Of course, security wise, we are not going to be transacting from physical money. This is a digital system. So we want it to be safe in that aspect as well, and really prioritize the cybersecurity feature of the mobile application, and not only that, but our system, so that we really emphasize on this aspect as well. Of course, convenience, as I said earlier, we want it to be as simple as possible. We want people to use this application easily. Of course, not everyone is super techy. Everyone has a room to grow when it comes to the digital or the technical aspect of it. Not everyone has used this kind of a mobile application before, so it's going to be a step-by-step process. But while we were creating this Append Pay app, we want it to be as easy as possible, convenient as possible, very straightforward. If you want to enroll in the Append Pay app, it's going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3. Ma'am Jeng tried it. She registered to the mobile app, and she successfully created the mobile account, I think, in just less than a minute. So the convenience of it, where we are aggregating different services, we are aggregating different brick and mortars, different merchants in this Append Pay mobile application. So it's an ecosystem that will be convenient and available for everyone, and all of the services of it will be easily availed by our members. And lastly is the purpose. I think this is the real heart of Append Pay, is to serve its real purpose, which is to glorify God, and to really deliver the services and help elevate the lives of the Filipinos. We want this digital asset to become a spearheader when it comes to microfinance and digitalization, where we are taking the traditional business models that we have, putting it in a digital ecosystem, and then from there we want to really help and extend the reach of every service providers that we have, every NGOs, every MFIs, so that all of the services will be available and easily be reached by our members. Next slide, please. This is our objective for the Append Pay. Of course, first and foremost is the ease of doing business. Provided automated system that will serve as an avenue of service that can be availed anytime, anywhere. A second is financial inclusions. We want to help our nanays, our members, to be banked with an alternative financial service, so that it's going to be easier for them. We will be providing additional services, cash ins, cash outs, fund transfers, so on and so forth. Any financial services that will really help them and reap what their hard work is. Third is the online transactions. Everything is done digitally. If you want to pay for your loans, it's going to be done digitally. If you want to apply for a loan, it's going to be done digitally. So it's a digital ecosystem that can be used anytime, anywhere. Fourth is risk mitigation. We want to reduce any risk of frauds, losses for the NGOs, the MFIs, and so on and so forth. And not only that, for the risk of you losing your money, the risk of you overspending your money, if you can say that as well. So those are the aspects that we really take into consideration when we create and develop this Append Pay mobile app. Fifth is the real-time monitoring. These are real-time posted transactions, to which once you've cashed in your money, it will be available in a matter of seconds. If you cash out your money, the loan that has been dispersed to you, it's a matter of minutes. You can go to the channels that we have and take out that money. And lastly is safety. It's going to be a pandemic-free, cashless digital transactions, and then it will be a very safe environment for everyone to transact in this Append Pay mobile app. Next slide. So this is the high-level architecture of what we've done in the Append Pay mobile app. As you can see here, Append Pay is an all-in-one solution for microfinance. Append Pay offers a complete ecosystem functioning as an aggregator of service that enables the end-to-end processes of MFIs. As you can see here, we have the user. User will go to the Append Pay app, and all of this services that is being offered by our partners, our non-banks and bank partners, our MFIs, our merchants will be available to them using the Append Pay app. So if these are financial services, they can go to the Append Pay app and transact those services there. Customer onboarding, we are aggregating the customer onboardings in the Append Pay app and giving those data to our partners so that they can process it for a real-time transaction. We are cutting the manual postings and so on and so forth, manual handling, so the Append Pay app can handle all of those onboardings in a digital perspective. And also the bread and butter is the microfinance, where this will be a microfinancing solution that will be spearheading the digitalization of the microfinancing industry, where loan applications can be done digitally, where loan disbursements can be done digitally, loan applications can be done digitally. Next slide. So this is like a high-level perspective of the Append Pay mobile app. Of course, it serves as an e-wallet. It is embedded with the e-wallet for safe handling of your loans. And it serves as an e-wallet where you can transact digital transactions. If you want to pay your bills in the Append Pay app, you can do so. If you want to buy mobile load in the Append Pay app, you can do so as well. If you want to be a loading center in your barangay, this is one way you can earn from the Append Pay app. As one of our purpose as well is not only to give the solution for you to transact, but also to share with your barangay, your city, where you can be a loading partner, you can be a payment facility, and then you can freely earn money from the Append Pay app. We have the loan services. The loan applications, disbursements, and payments can be done to the palm of your hands. We are so happy and we are totally engaged with the Savior system. This is a microfinancing core banking system that we have successfully integrated with. The team of Sir Ted has been hand in hand with us and been supportive for us to create this ecosystem. And then they're the first one that we have integrated with the Append Pay app. And right now, we are currently servicing the TSKI members, providing them with this loan services. And by our roadmap, we will be onboarding additional microfinancing institutions in this wonderful super app that we are creating. Of course, the financials is there. You can cash in, cash outs with the merchants that we have. We have functionalities for sending and receiving funds through e-wallets, from e-wallet to e-wallet. As I said, you can do.
Yes, naghang lang sandali si Jello. And so far, ano na ba yung mga na-pick up ninyo na features ng Append Pay? Would you like to type in the chat box? Ano yung mga natandaan nyo sa mga unang binanggit ni Jello about Append Pay? Sige nga, kung tayo ay matandain, kung kayo ay matalas ang inyong memory. Kung hindi, magpapadala ako ng Memory Plus. Diba? Kung hindi nyo natandaan yung kanyang mga features. Alright, super app ang Append Pay. Alright, cash in, cash out can be done through Append Pay. We like online services. Alright, some more. One, aba, ang mga natatandaan nyo. You can pay your bills through Append Pay. Alright. Diba? Okay. So ito, tatangkilikin mo talaga dahil ito ay tunay na Pinoy na app. Okay? Yung ibang app na available ngayon, alam ko, are not entirely local, are not entirely Filipino-owned. Merong mga malalaking ibang foreigners na kasosyo dito sa mga popular apps right now, sa mga e-wallet. But with Append Pay, alright, it's purely Filipino. Alright, so it's pandemic free. Ibig sabihin hindi ka na chances na mahawa ka mas mababa, mas konti kasi hindi ka napupunta sa iba't ibang mga kung saan ka pwede mag-cash out. Alright. Safety and convenient. Yes. Kaya ang ating tagline ay simple, ligtas at convenient. Alright. It's just like connect to card. Yes. Oo. Nabalitaan ko. Ganito rin yung mga features ng connect to card. Alright. Simple, ligtas, convenient. Galing. Marami kayo natatandaan. Okay. It's all-in-one solution for all microfinance. Imagine, hindi ba dati, paano ba nag-a-apply ng loan ang mga nanay? Sila pupuntahan ninyo, tapos meron mga papel na susulatan, meron pang chances na magkamali ang isinusulat, di ba? Minsan hindi maisulat ng malinaw lahat kung ano yung gustong sabihin. And then, uuwi pa yon. Pwedeng iuwi pa ninyo sa bahay bago ma-process, kinabukasan. And then, syempre, isasubmit. Ipipila pa yon sa inyong mga branches. And then, ipoprocess. But with Append Pay, dire-diretso ang transaction, i-input lang doon sa app, lahat ng information na hahanapin, no, sa nag-a-apply ng loan. Okay? Pagka nandun na, immediately, mapoprocess yun, i-check kung siya ay qualified, kung merong mga pending na bayarin pa, kung meron pang outstanding loan. Okay? Nakikita ka agad. So, sa buong maghapon, magbiruin mo, nako-consolidate ka agad, nalalaman ka agad ng inyong mga organization kung magkano yung pumapasok na utang for the day. Yeah. Alright, so andito na ulit si Sir Jello. Alright, to continue with
everyone
this
hear me
presentation.
properly. Apologies talaga, the internet is not
It's okay. It's okay.
operating right now, sir.
Yes.
Going back to this presentation po, of course, the last service that we are empowering in the Append Pay Mobile App is the personal services. Developing our team members is a very quintessential thing for the Append group. So we are creating a lead and train program here. This is a e-learning functionality where you can scroll different financial inclusion studies, some devotionals, and then this learnings will all be free for the members. And also, the good thing about our Append Pay mobile app is we are creating this all-in-one card for our Append Pay members. This person ID card can be used as your ID for the Append Pay organization, the Append Pay ecosystem, and also this can be used as a cash card. So next slide po. We have a sample here of our cash card with the face of our chairman. So this cash card, you can use this to pay anytime, anywhere. You can go to the POS machines, use this cash card. You can go to the ATMs as well, where you can use this cash card. So if you want to take out your loans while disperse in your mobile accounts, you can go to ATMs and get those money from this cash card. And also you can go to your favorite stores, your SM stores, or any stores that you have available in your area. You can use this. It's going to be good as cash as well. So the Append Pay admin portal, I'm not going to go super deep on this, but here we have created a big data analytics where we are analyzing all of the data that is coming in from the transaction side so that we can provide real-time dashboarding, reporting using graphical representations that will be easier and more functional for our admin users to see, monitor the performance of the Append Pay app. We have a dynamic content management tool. So if there are going to be a lot new users, going to be a lot of new MFIs, channels and merchants are going to be onboarded in the Append Pay app. It's going to be easier for us to scale up the application where we don't have to do a lot of revamps, a lot of development work. It's just a matter of activating them inside the mobile application. And lastly is the report generation. I think everyone will be happy on this because we are integrating with the core banking systems with our partner. It will be a real-time reporting through the APIs that we have created. We can send the reporting transaction, the reporting data to them so that it will be posted in their core banking in real time perspective. These are the roadmap that we have for Append Pay. This is pretty much the scaling part of the system. Of course, we are starting the operations as of the moment. TSKI, as I said earlier, is the first one to be onboarded inside this Append Pay app, and are continually growing and from the experience. We are growing the platform in line to what we see or the use case that we have encountered. If there are some pain points, we address it. If there are some additional functionalities that we are seeing that will really benefit our members, we are continually learning and aggregating all of this information and creating a better and safer, a more simple, convenient application for everyone. Of course, we are still growing the partnerships that we have. We are going to be linking additional MFIs in this Append Pay app and also aggregating more and more service providers inside the Append Pay mobile app. And I said, and also, of course, expansion of service, not only the financial services, the personal services, we are going to be bringing out more services for our members to consume, which is in the next slide. These are exciting features that we are going to be inputting inside the Append Pay app. This will be available soon. We have the Append Pay Mall. This is a e-commerce marketplace where our nanays can sell their products. They can use the Append Pay app to order their favorite cases, their favorite clothes. So in this Append Pay Mall, it will be an online marketplace, an online mall that will be available for the use of our Append Pay members. Of course, we have the online order and logistics.
Wala ulit si Sir Jel. Sir
Okay,
Jello.
Roland, let's
Yes.
take this on. No? Okay, ako na lang mag-speak for on behalf of Jello.
Why not?
Ito yung ating future product features, no? We'll have our online order and logistics. So it will magkakaroon tayo ng, deliveries, ordering, parang yung sinasabi ni Sir Aris yesterday. Most of the deliveries now are owned by international or foreign companies. But through Append Pay app, we hope to consolidate, our nanays or our tatays who have, their vehicles, and then motorcycles that we can use to deliver goods. Okay, and then there's also this rent, hire, book. There will be an online booking tools and appointment systems for ride-hailing workers. Halimbawa, if you want carpenters or yung gumagawa ng yung tubero, no, we can put that in the app, and then anyone can tap, those workers, and of course, hotel bookings. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the making of the Append Pay Corporation. We got our registration with the Securities and Exchange Commission as a stock corporation on August 20, 2020. And then this corporation is owned by a majority of the microfinance NGOs and social enterprises such as TSKI, KMDC, KMBI, Card Inc., Append Inc., and Yaman MC. And then on February 2, 20, and Cicero, on February 2, 2021, we got the BSP Certificate of Registration as operator of payment system, as mentioned by Governor Jokno. I think a BSP is actually monitoring Append Pay. So every month I'm giving them regular update of what Append Pay is doing, what are the milestones of Append Pay. And the good thing with this corporation is, as mentioned by Roland, this is a local corporation, and 10% of the income of the corporation shall be given to Append's programs, such as, but not limited to, scholarships, leadership training, advocacy, and community services. So hopefully in the next Append Leadership Conference, it's not anymore GCash, or probably we can get GCash also, but Append Pay can also sponsor, the conduct of the Append Leadership Conference. Okay, and then the income of the corporation will go to the operations of the company and to the stockholders. Remember, the stockholders are majority microfinance NGOs and social enterprises. So the income that will be generated by the corporation will redound to the poor through these stockholders. And then these funds can be used to finance the microfinance operations and community development programs. Okay, next. So this is the picture of the contract agreement signing with Multisyst Technologies Corporation last November 15, 2019. You can see there our chairman, Angel De Leon, myself, I was still young there. And then Kuya Ed, Sir Ed Jimenez. And this is the president of Multisyst, Pastor Dave Almirol, and of course, MVP and from PLDT. Okay, next. So who are our partners? As Jello mentioned, the first organization that was already integrated with Append Pay is TSKI. So in the pipeline, we hope to integrate with KMBI and TSPI, Ma'am Alice, and others. And then our EMI license institution partner is NationLink or InfoServe. It is the one that will power our e-wallet. And then our settlement banks or depository banks, OK Bank and Card Bank. Okay, so that's all. Thank you very much, everyone.